You're watching Real Health. Thank you for tuning in. Now, we all know that nothing beats the taste of sugar, but we're constantly reminded of how bad sugar is for us. So, in our effort to live a healthy life, some of us have basically stopped using sugar in our diets. But has this not taken the joy out of eating? To chat to us about this topic, we have Deborah Good and nutritional therapist Nikki Robertson. Ladies, welcome. So nice to have you with us.
Thanks, Michael.
Excellent. Now, tell us, let's start with sugar, cravings, taste, sweetness. It's about enjoying life to some extent, is it not? But we need to be aware of what we're putting into our bodies and not overdo it. So where do we draw the line with sugar?
Yeah, we've become desensitized to the amount of sugar that we need, and that's largely due to the way that food products are manufactured. There's so much sugar hidden in everyday foods that we're not even aware of. Yeah. And that's where our satiety and our ability to just draw the line and stop has become overruled. So what also happens in the brain is sugar is known as, it gives you a bit of a serotonin boost, but serotonin calms anxiety. It makes us feel relaxed. It's one of those neurotransmitters that makes us feel like we're in control. And I think in this day and age where everyone is feeling overwrought, out of control, and full of anxiety, every second person that comes into my practice says they're full of anxiety, goes for sugar because it gives you an instant settling of that feeling. So it's becoming really difficult to let go of.
Is it also an element of sort of conditioning? Because as we grow up, a sugar is a treat, something sweet is a treat.
And it should be a treat, and it's become the norm, and it's in everything. So even though most people who are trying to eliminate sugar from their diets will go out and try and make healthy choices, they're not aware of the amount of sugar in the foods that are being portrayed as better choices. So it's a double-edged sword. You're trying to make better choices, but you've got no option.
It's difficult, yeah. Now, Deborah, you're a health, what we call you, enthusiast, I guess,
yes.
And you've done quite a lot of research into understanding what happy foods are, how to deal with them, and I know that you bake a lot as well, so for you it's about bringing in the healthier options for enjoying life. So how have you managed to do that?
Yes, I think the main inspiration for that with me was observing my children around a breakfast table in the morning or having a look inside their lunchbox and kind of choosing products that were full of sugar because there wasn't an alternative. And the thing with children is you can't say to them, don't do that. That's exactly where they'll go then, or go to the next birthday party and eat as much sugar as possible. And so it became a mission of mine to find something that would be as delightful as sugar. And when I say as delightful as sugar, it's only delightful because we don't have an alternative to it and it's highly addictive. There's something even called a bliss point that manufacturers have developed to make sure that you'll choose the sugared products and that you actually are that delighted by them. But it has this deleterious effect on the body that is, multitudinous. But we know that from the research worldwide now with sugar. That being said, you want to try and provide people with a product that doesn't make them feel like they're deprived. The drive for me was to find something that would replace sugar, but still tell the body that it was happy and it was allowed to still enjoy itself.
Just touching on the point, Nikki, if I can ask you this one, in terms of that feeling happy because of food, it's a happy food. Is it practical, is it realistic, is it reasonable to expect people to cut that out of life? And from a sort of a mental and psychological perspective, are you at risk of making somebody quite unhappy through that? I mean, where's the balance? What is the balance?
My feeling is that food is joy. So whatever we eat should be a joyful experience and should make you feel happy. I don't think it's necessary to cut out everything all the time. If you don't have diabetes, if you don't have cancer, if you don't have some terrible disease that thrives off sugar and inflammation, it's fine to have a treat once in a while. But when it becomes a problem and you can't control yourself, and you can't, it's like anything, whether it be alcohol or a drug, when you can't say no and the thought of giving it up makes you hit a panic, then you know you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And that's where a substitute could be a really good, helpful way of getting the brain over that bump, because all food should be pleasure, not just sugar.
Yeah, and then if we go into sort of from a more natural source of sugar perspective, fruit is an alternative, but it still does have a lot of sugar, which can have, so if you're diabetic and you eat a whole lot of fruit, you're going to do almost as much damage as if you're going to eat sugar.
Things like fruit, well, fruit is designed by nature to make animals fat so they survive winter. Okay, so that is why fruit gets ripe, falls on the floor, animals eat it, they put on body fat, and when we eat too much fruit as well, we put on body fats and become inflamed as well.
Yeah.
So fruit is seen as a healthier option. In excess, it's not. Anything in excess is going to be a problem. Honey as well, once it's gone past those taste buds and it signals the pancreas to make insulin, that's it. It's the same as any other sugar. Coconut sugar, organic sugar, it's all sugar. It's all going to create a response in the endocrine system. And the biggest problem with fruit is that it makes triglycerides. So it turns sugar into fat and the dangerous kinds of fat.
Don't think we don't want you to eat fruit, but it's just about moderation again in
Absolutely.
everything that we are
It's not
doing.
saying don't eat fruit. It's saying eat the apple, don't drink the apple juice. If
Yes.
you're going to, if you're going to make a good choice, think about it
Yes,
more
absolutely.
carefully.
Okay. And obviously, I mean, you can go to the extreme view again and say vegetables all the way. For snacks, it's vegetables. How realistic is that? Especially, again, you talk about your kids, and do they like you if you feed them broccoli in their lunchbox every day,
Well, definitely not. So for me, that's not really the only choice that's available. It's about the refined carbohydrates and things that are normally in these lunch boxes, or the hidden sugars specifically. For example, something that's called a healthy snack, for example, a yogurt, often contains about 5 or 6 spoons of sugar in one of the small tubs. People are consuming up to 40 spoons of sugar a day.
Unbelievable.
And just after breakfast, 20 of those. So that is something that really we need to educate the public on. And then, as I say, not even remove those, but it is the fact that the refined carbohydrates, a plate of French fries, a loaf of white bread, converts in your body exactly the same way that sugar does. So it creates that insulin spike, which again, drops the main fat producing hormone into the body and hence obesity. People are trying hard, but there's a lack of education and a lack of choice around what you would replace it with.
That's, I think, the problem is that you want to. I think, Nikki, we've spoken about sort of habit forming things in the past, and a lot of discussion around sugar is also to reduce the craving by managing the use of it. So if you can find an alternative that is going to still be okay as a sweetness, you've got that satiety, what you call it? Satiety. You've got that, but it's going to help you to not crave it as much as you possibly would.
It won't trigger the addiction.
Yes.
So you're initially still getting the satisfaction of having a piece of cake, or it's filling a gap, but you're reducing that addiction.
Yes. So you've got the happy feeling of eating something tasty and sweet and lovely, but it's not going to make you want so much more of it.
And you're not getting that psychological hit every time. So you're going to find other foods that you're going to find other happy foods, whole foods.
Yes.
And I think when you get used to eating a whole food diet and you get used to eating a wide range of foods, just the joy of eating starts to surface, not just the joy of diving into a packet of sweets.
Absolutely. Okay, so now I must tell you that the Real Health team was quite excited to discover Free Sweet, which is a sugar replacement that has the sweetness of sugar without the negative effects of it. Hence, it found its way into the Real Health medicine cabinet. Thank you so much, Deborah, for bringing this in. So now we've spoken about sugar and sweetness and all of this. You created this product as an alternative because you wanted something different. So tell us about that sort of inspiration.
Yes, it was let alone something different. It was something that fulfilled the needs that I found that the other natural sweeteners didn't. So it is a entirely natural sweetener, no artificial ingredients at all. And that was where I found the limitation to be. You had sugar on one hand, and on the other hand, the artificial sweeteners, which also, are not condonable on so many levels. In between, there are things called natural sweeteners, and a lot of them, as I said, have that effect on the body that sugar does. Or you've got the xylitols of the world and so on. So I spent a lot of time researching ingredients from all over the world and products that were available in the world, and have created something that really uniquely answers those main questions. So something that is no artificial ingredients. I've also created it as zero carb.
Okay.
So from a carb point of view, that even relates to the GI point of view, which is the glycemic index, which again is 3 as opposed to sugar, which is 65.
Sure.
That's allowed us to get South African Diabetic Association approval. The other thing about it that's really unique is, as you said, it's 1-to-1 with sugar, which is unusual. None of the other products really achieve that. So you've got this wonderful ability to replace it in anything. So it's why it's called a replacement.
And like if you from a baking perspective, is it going to do the same thing as sugar does? Because I know that's a pitfall with some of the artificial or the other natural sweeteners.
It really is.
Yeah.
So again, it contains ingredients that combine beautifully in baking, and also it caramelizes, which is also a shortfall normally with the alternative sweeteners. And another very important one is it has absolutely no bitter aftertaste, which a lot of the other sweeteners do. It's actually it's, you know, people actually are converted to this product, and because of their loyalty immediately, as I say, that's the importance, is that you are then converted long term from a sugar diet.
Great stuff. And then where is it going to be available? Where can we find it?
It's going to be available in all the major retailers.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Wonderful news.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.